Hey everybody, welcome to Module 4. We're going to spend 1 week on this module, and it covers Chapter 3. What is culture and why is it important? So if you've already taken diversity, we've of course talked a lot about this already, but that's okay. It's relevant and ever-changing, so we will keep up with it and continue to talk about it. So here's a Module 4 overview. I'll just go ahead and read it to you. In the last module, you spent time looking at two very important theories that shape our work with children and families, the bioecological theory and the family systems theory. These theories provide us with the foundation to support and understand the children and families we serve. This module that we're in right now explores the importance of culture in the lives of the children and families we serve. We'll be reading Chapter 3, like I just said. The articles that are assigned for this week explore culture a bit deeper, as well as invite you to think about the various family structures that exist in our current society. The videos also afford you the opportunity to investigate deeper how culture impacts families and how the messages we send are critical to families feeling supported. When you think about the influences of our cultural identity, those also had a direct link to our community. And I encourage you, as you read these, to be thinking about your virtual family and how all of this relates to that virtual family and your virtual student that you're working with, because all of this is building on each other for what you're going to, throughout the course, end up doing with that virtual family. So please look over the module as it has several components for you to complete this week. The deadlines are embedded. Speaking of deadlines, a few have changed. I've changed some of the deadlines on the key assessment activities, key assessment virtual family activities as we go, because I just didn't want to give you some assignments of things that of material we hadn't covered yet. I just didn't think that was fair, and that was how it was originally laid out, so that you had more time as we went to work on them, but there are some things we haven't fully covered yet. So I want to make sure that we have, and don't worry, there's going to be plenty of time to get them done. There's even going to be a week or two near the end of the semester dedicated purely to working on the key assessment. So even though some of those deadlines have changed, don't feel panicked by that, please. And just know that we're working on it together. That said, remember that if you ever want to be looking ahead or making sure that you're on track with it, you have access to what's going to be required of it. From Module 3 last week, you have, maybe I'm in the wrong module. Let's see. Sorry, for Module 2, you have the directions that you can download and print and have as your own for the key assessment virtual family project. Okay, so here was the description of the families. Here's where you might have had some of the dates that I was talking about that I changed, but it also tells you what all we're going to be doing. Eventually, you're going to be writing a welcome letter. Eventually, you're going to come up with strategies that you'll use to communicate with families. Eventually, you're going to write a philosophy statement, a sample list of opportunities for family involvement, things that you can do to get families involved at your facility or your center, community resources that benefit your family, children's books that will benefit your family, parenting books that will benefit your family, online resources that will support your family specifically, and 2 articles that would be beneficial. Additionally, as we go, you're going to, these are other assignments that are embedded, like one we're going to talk about today. And then you're also going to be building more information about your family. So everything we take in, you're eventually going to write about how a bigger picture of your family and how all of these things relate to them. You're also eventually going to research a topic that would help your family or support your family in some way. So these are all things you're going to be doing, and you have access to all this to come back and look at it, okay? As well as here we've got more details about each one. These are the standards that we're going to meet. And then here we go back to the story of your family. So there's more information about that. The welcome letter we already talked about. So things we said in the last one, and then the grading rubric for each. So you do have access to this if you want to go ahead and be working on it. But that is up to you. You can go at the pace that I set for you, or you can go ahead and be working on it. You'll just need to know that there might be some things you need to change along the way. So back to Module 4, your readings for this week are Chapter 3, right here, Chapter 3, and these two articles. You're also welcome to look up any articles on your own that you think relate to this week's to culture and why it's important to understand families' cultures, just to be getting a feel for it. And you could look up specific ones as they relate to your families. And then we've got some videos on culture and why it's important. This comes from the Virtual Lab School. It's my source for these videos. And it tells you what each one is about as you watch them. They are required as they're going to help you in your career, most importantly, but also in this class as you are working on that virtual family. So take some notes to keep somewhere. We've got our notes assignment, so that'd be a great place to keep them. Okay, and here are your skeletal outline notes for chapter 3 and module 4. I recommend printing this off as you start, before you start reading, before you start watching videos, because then you can take the notes as you go. Okay, so I say print it off or type it, either one. This will grow as you type in it. If you're printing it off, you'll have to either write small, or you might print it single-sided and print on the back, use the back some. Might be a way you could do it, but take notes over your reading, take notes over your videos, take notes over class discussion, over the articles you read. That got a little bit out of order. And anything that some of it you might not realize yet how it's going to relate to your case study. But if there are some things that as you learn them, you realize exactly how they'll relate to your virtual family, go ahead and put those notes here. And I've recommended other times that as you're doing this, put page numbers, put which video, put the specific minutes in the video. That way you can go back for your own reference later, or if you choose to use that information in something that you're writing, it's easier to cite later. So that's your skeletal outline. You're also going to have a discussion this week. You only have to choose one of the following of these. You can deepen your understanding of the definition of culture and diversity by listing the attributes that are part of your personal culture, listing ways you see yourself represented and or underrepresented in society and culture. And then you would do the same for your virtual family. You would need to tell us a little bit about your virtual family, at least the name and number of your case study, so that somebody could go look at it themselves. So you're going to answer all three of these if you choose one. Even though it doesn't say it in here, you're going to need to find a way to incorporate learning materials from this week as support for something that you write here. So that can be from the chapter reading, articles, or videos. Or option number 2 is to discuss how values and beliefs shape the way we view the world and how that shapes acceptance of others and or creates cultural divides. So ways that these different views either help you accept others, or in some cases help people not accept others. Frame it using cultural humility as your foundation. Consider how the following quote correlates with your answer. An unhealed person can find offense in pretty much anything that someone does. A healed person understands that the actions of others have absolutely nothing to do with them. Each day, you get to decide which one you will be. Again, you must find ways to incorporate sources, some sort of resource reference to the learning materials this week. Your third option is using the article, Anti-Bias Education and Holidays, Making Thoughtful Decisions. Answer the following. Discuss how early childhood programs need to consider questions of how, when, and which holidays to celebrate. Based on the reading and audiovisual content for this module, develop some program policies regarding holiday activities for appropriateness, addressing commercialism and stereotypes, and respectfully involving families. So you could say, I think it would be a good idea for a center to have policies like, and some examples of policies. And identify how to create experiences that are culturally responsive, respectful, and inclusive. In addition to making specific references to and citing the article in this one, you should also incorporate something else you learned, read, watched, something this week. Your post should be 1 to 2 paragraphs with no fewer than 10 sentences total and should provide your unique perspective. Like I see this one being 2 paragraphs probably, because you would want to break them up into the things about you and then the things about your virtual family. This one might, you might have ways that you need to break it into 2, but it might just be 1 longer paragraph. Same on this one. Might be 1 longer paragraph, might even be 3 little paragraphs. But you've got to have 10 complex sentences total. And then here's the normal stuff. Make sure you still include an artifact. Make sure that you cite your sources, all those things. And then our next assignment for the week is your quiz. And those are your 3 assignments for the week. This is a discussion that is not graded because it's an introduction to an assignment we'll do next week. And it's just to get you brainstorming. And there's a video here explaining all of that. Here's some extra credit you can do this week. If you took diversity recently, you did this for diversity as well. So I would want you to select a different quiz you could take. But this is some interesting quizzes that you can take. They're very popular right now. I haven't been to professional development in a while that this didn't come up. I can't say for sure that I understand the science behind how the quizzes work, but they're designed to help you recognize possibly some biases that you didn't realize you had. We all have biases. We all do. That's the first step, is admitting that we have them. The first step in overcoming them is admitting that we do have them and being open to the thought that maybe I have some biases I didn't realize I had. What can I do to address those? So this is some extra credit for you to take one of these quizzes and write your information about it. If you have any questions about this, of course, reach out to me. And then we're to the end of that's module 2 again. We're to the end of module 4. And it just reiterates what we sure hope that you learned this week. And that is it. Please, as always, reach out if you have any questions or concerns and let me know if there's anything I can help you with. Thanks.